Hello, my name is Crystal Wagger. I'm the wife of the U.S. Ambassador to Singapore, Mr. Kirk Wagger. And this year we're looking forward to spending Thanksgiving here in Singapore, here at the residence, with members of our embassy community. We're going to be preparing dishes that I would traditionally prepare if we were back home. It's basically comfort food. It's comfort food. It makes you feel good. And it fills you up. It's soul food because it's passed along through the African American traditions, normally around the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I typically during the holidays make a myriad of soul food dishes, none of which are healthy, but they're so good. Today I'll be demonstrating my family's version of sweet potatoes. Any recipe or any dish that my paternal grandmother would make, there was never any measuring. She measured to taste. She did it with her hands. And I'm sure many of you out there can relate to that because all of our grandmothers can make these dishes and they don't measure anything. And you just kind of have to learn from trial and error. And now I'm able to not use measurements as well. But for today's purposes, I will be measuring it out for you all in case you'd like to try it yourself. So what you'll start off by doing is peeling your sweet potatoes and then boiling. After you've boiled your potatoes for an hour, they should look like this. They're peeled and they're tender to the touch. If you've boiled your potatoes and they're not tender and they look like this, mashy, then you've boiled them too long and they'll be difficult to pan fry and marinate. The next step would be to cut your sweet potatoes into equal-sized medallions. You'll set the medallions aside and then you'll take your ingredients in order to sweeten them even further than what they already are. And those ingredients consist of white sugar, brown sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, lots of butter, and orange juice. You put about half a stick of butter in the pan to start with, and you want to make sure it's melted. Again, nothing about this recipe is healthy, but it is good. Once your butter is melted, then you will go about adding your brown sugar, your white sugar, sort of mixing it together. Then you add your cinnamon, just sort of sprinkle it through the pan, stir it in, and you add your nutmeg. Once you've stirred your mixture and it's kind of a chunky consistency, then it's time to add your second half of your stick of butter. So you add your second half and you stir it all in so that what you're creating is sort of a caramel base. You want to make sure it's all mixed together and that the butter is melted. Okay, now your sugar and butter mixture should be simmering, and now is the time when you add your sweet potatoes. And there's really no rush to do it. Just want to make sure you evenly disperse them throughout the pan. Make sure that as many of the potatoes are coated as possible. And this is one of the reasons you got to be careful not to boil them too long so that they're not too soft. So they're all good and in there. The next step would be to add your orange juice. I think the key to this is to spread it on the edges of the pan, all around the outside. And you'll let this sit and marinate for the next 30 minutes. So make sure your heat is on low. Okay, so once you've let this marinate and simmer for 30 minutes, and you get yourself a glass baking dish here, and you very slowly add them, evenly distribute them throughout the pan. And the consistency of your mixture at this point should be syrupy. Then you take about a quarter cup of brown sugar, add more just to the top, and you'll add about a half a teaspoon of vanilla. I would say 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Just sort of drizzle it over the top. It's now time to pop them in the oven. Your oven should be set at approximately 350. And they should cook for about another 30 minutes. And they should look something like this. So you're looking for them to be somewhat wrinkled, you want some bubbles around the side, and you want it to be sort of a brownish color. And when you're all done, voila, you have Grandma's sweet potatoes recipe. Just like I used to remember them from being a little girl. So tasty. I hope you enjoyed this segment, and I hope you set off to make your own sweet potatoes, and I hope that you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. This cornbread's great too, and you just dip it in here. So good. Thanks for watching.